That is your traffic.
And Ring Video Doorbell. Plus, right now, that's Marty. Improved. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Have a know-how. At participating stores.
Every Saturday, 8 to 11, you get an extra hour. There's no better time to upgrade your small business with the latest laptops and desktops. Black Friday. That's 877
Geico.com. Get a quote and see how much you can
This is former Saiz with the CBS Sports Finish. And Pittsburgh's Keith Butler is defensive coordinator of the half. Candidate to become the next Jets head coach is the offensive coordinator. Mike Tomlin. Now, you guys don't get any hardware for this,
not as lean? Are you losing your energy, drive, or even your passion? From Nugenics is the world's first and only non-prescription and right now, Nugenics is letting every man in America.
Sports Animal.
What to expect on a Thursday? How many 49ers will show up? Will it be Thursday night football? We're going to have a Monday night doubleheader. Looking forward to the weekend. Lobos in Vegas, Eyes for Hawaii, and so much more. What it do, everyone? Welcome in to the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal, and Pro View Networks. JJ Buck with you this morning. We got Micah holding it down. We got our Pro View guys back in the studio. What it do? And yes, Jeff Siembieda will join us shortly. Excited as always on a Thursday to look forward to the weekend. We've got Jerry Palm coming up at 8:30 CBS Sports. It was a wild weekend in college football last weekend, and now we get the Pac-12 joining the party this Saturday. A ton of big games in the Mountain West and across college football. Notre Dame and Clemson. We'll dive into that. BYU getting their first test going against Boise State. So a ton to get to this morning. And throughout the morning, we will monitor Thursday Night Football, which you can hear right here on the Sports Animal. 49ers and Packers after Lobo Talk tonight, which is 5 to 6. Danny Gonzalez and Robert Portnoy. As yesterday, 4 more 49ers were placed on the COVID list due to close contacts. The facility was shut down. The NFL has remained adamant and said that they are on track to play tonight's game, get it in, and move on. With 49ers, we're already hurt. Have we seen the last of Jim Garoppolo in San Francisco now that he's on the shelf following his ankle injury? George Kittle went down. It's Brandon Ayuk. It's Deebo Samuel, 2 wide receivers that were placed on the COVID list. We know the injuries in the backfield for the Green Bay Packers could be without Aaron Jones. They're having their issues as well in the running back room. No Jamal Williams. He's out in this one. And then you just start raising the question. You understand it's Thursday Night Football. They have the television package to get to. But is this the best thing for the competitive balance of the NFL, is to try to shoehorn this Thursday Night Football game in right now? Or should we be looking at potentially another Monday night doubleheader? It's one of your San Francisco injuries. They happen. Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle being out, you got to deal with it. But the others, when it comes to the COVID list, the close contacts, having to be put on the shelf for at least 5 days, test negative each day, is just the best thing just for competitive football game tonight. But we'll monitor that throughout the morning. Thursday Night Football, 49ers and Green Bay Packers. And speaking of Lobo football, coaches met the media for the final time yesterday, getting ready for the game against Hawaii. Just some more nuggets to pull out of that when you listen to Danny Gonzalez rocking along to spoke to the media on Tuesday. A lot of disappointment, of course, defensively with this team. But will they have some players back in the rotation, getting healthy, and then also clearing protocol? So that is something to watch for, is how the defense plays. The effort was fine, but guess what? They still gave up 600 yards of total offense. They had a game in which it was 21-21. San Jose State scores the next 17 points. So how are they adjusting to life in Las Vegas? Full practices this week ahead of that trip to Hawaii. We'll get into that and break that down with so much more. 2460610 is the Quan's Auto Care hotline. You can email the show this morning, jj@610knml.com, jeff@610knml.com. He will get in this morning. Sometimes life remotely, things like this happen, and we work through these situations. Now, the Houston Texans are dealing with some stuff as well. They had a player test positive, so they closed down their facility. They have a Sunday game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, it's not impactful right now in, say, terms of playoff races. We are looking at potentially top of the draft. You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, are they going to be a team right there with the New York Jets that are looking for the future? And we've touched on it a lot this week about time quarterbacks do or do not get in the NFL. Jacksonville's a team that was kind of messing around with Gardner Minshew, liked him enough to bring him back, ain't quite working out, just doesn't have that extra gear. It's a franchise overall. They traded a lot of defensive pieces. And so Jake Luton, Oregon State, is who you're going to see with Jacksonville this weekend. It's a very disappointing Houston Texans team. J.J. Watt said that he doesn't want to hang around for a rebuild, but guess what? You fired Bill O'Brien. You're underperforming defensively, bad offensively early in the season. When you have that expectation to have a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, who we believe is one of those top-tier quarterbacks, has that kind of ability to be the guy in this league, and yet you're looking up at an Indianapolis team, at a Tennessee Titans team that caught lightning in a bottle with Ryan Tannehill last year. So the Houston Texans, a lot going on there, and now their facility is shut down. So it's what you have to do during the week is getting ready for these football games, is looking at, who can practice, who's available, and that's where we're at right now. We're expecting Thursday Night Football to go on despite the shutdown of the 49ers yesterday. Houston Texans joined the COVID shutdown. And that's life, football, sports in 2020. Also find me on Twitter. It's _JJBuck. Facebook, facebook.com/theodintheam. View the links, view the show, everything else that we got going on this morning. Micah, it is a big day for us. Of course, we after the show record our podcast, Red Shirt Season. When it comes to college football, the talk of the town is Notre Dame and Clemson as we get ready for that one this weekend. DJ Uiagalelei, got to work on that. Not quite great, but it's a bad quarterback. It's a freshman for Clemson against Notre Dame. All eyes are going to be on that football game. What are you most looking forward to? What do you think is going to be the difference in that contest on Saturday night?
Clemson's defense. It's really going to, be if Clemson defense, if they can hold still against Notre Dame and kind of really take that game and see how Clemson's quarterback, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I don't want to butcher it, see how well he can perform because he struggled a little bit, in that game at the beginning, and then he kind of got going. So we'll see if he can have an all-around game to take down Notre Dame or if Notre Dame can, dethrone the number one team out there.
Of course, Notre Dame, an honorary ACC member this season. Now, this is one, it's not an elimination game as big as it is for both schools. It's like the biggest game Notre Dame has played since they were in the college football playoff a few years ago. It's the fact that we have the unknown of the Pac-12 in their shorter season. Is a team going to go undefeated one? Are they going to hit at least that 6-game mark, which it seems to be the number that's floating around out there? And not just the conferences are looking at for a team to play in their conference championship, but I got to assume that's going to factor in for the college football playoff when they start looking at these teams. But I expect this will probably be, as all the ACC football that we've talked about this season, the ACC championship game. So it's going to look different down the line if Trevor Lawrence does come back healthy. Of course, he is out of this game because of testing positive for COVID-19, and it's just like 1 day short or 1 day after he could come back into the 10-day protocol in the ACC. But I'm with you. I think last Saturday for Clemson was that wake-up call. It's a freshman quarterback, as hyped, as talented as you think the guy is. It's different when you finally get on that football field. That's what we saw. Boston College shocked them for a half. But you still have Travis Etienne, Heisman contender, running back. To your point, that defense. And I get it, man. Notre Dame, it's the hype. It's the Golden Domers, the shiny helmets. But I don't believe them. It's a lot. I think they're better than an Oklahoma State team that I didn't have any belief in that lost to Texas last week. But I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a competitive game. But I just like Clemson from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's also interesting. It's going to be interesting to see Notre Dame and how they play against an actually good opponent. Because, all throughout their schedule, probably the toughest opponent they played was Pitt a couple weeks ago, and they blew them out the door. But, other than that, they really haven't played anybody, and they struggled against some of those teams. Like Louisville has struggled this season, and they barely beat them by 4 points. So this is the Notre Dame's biggest test of the season, and it'll be interesting to see how this team comes out playing against one of those bigger opponents compared to these smaller opponents that they've gotten an easy 6-0 record from.
So it is still a huge game. Well, I don't think it's a playoff eliminator. Of course, the team that loses on Saturday night, zero room for error. Then you got to hope for a little bit of help in that case from a team that doesn't go undefeated in the Pac-12. Are they going to have enough juice overall? It is exciting. It's a wild time where we're halfway into the season for some schools, looking at their playoff chances, their conference championship chances, etc. And yet we'll have the first game of the Pac-12 on Saturday. But at least it's good to see the majority of college football was able to get it together, put the protocols in place for all these student athletes, players, keep them tested. Fingers crossed, you limit the outbreaks, postponements, you deal with it. Of course, a lot of trouble up in Wisconsin, as I think they rose up to 27 positive cases this week, so their game against Purdue was canceled. Now, that's unfortunate. Those things can happen when you're trying to play sport and move forward in a global pandemic. But overall, this weekend, we'll get the Pac-12, get more games available, and continue to build that conversation. Yes, college football playoff is still a thing. Bowl season is still a thing, even though around here, there are some question marks of where that game is potentially going to be. But we know for sure the Lobos are going to be in Hawaii this weekend. What did the coaches have to say yesterday? What are some of the things to look forward to from a late night in the Mountain Time Zone, but a regular day in Hawaii for the Lobos? This is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Titus and Tate break down all you need to know for the November 18th NBA Draft. Hear from potential lottery picks and analysts.
Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. And it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay to get the measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
Run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
Throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye. Chavez dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and.
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off. Great hit. He bounces off. Outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Week 3 of Mountain West football kicks off tonight. Lobos will be in Hawaii on Saturday after spending the week in Las Vegas practicing to get ready for this contest. A lot of questions. What answers will we find out? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal, Pro View as well. What's up, guys? Back in the studio. Got Michael holding it down. We got Jason. We got Josh. We got Jeff Siembieda trying to figure out his emails somehow, some way. He will join us this morning. It's remote. It's 2020. It's what we do, but we're holding it down moving forward. JJ Buck with you. 246-0610 is Equan's Auto Care hotline. You can email the show, jj@610kml.com. I know y'all want to email Jeff. You can take your chances. Sure, he'll be able to read them on the air sooner rather than later. Jeff@610kml is his email address. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theodintheam. View the show as well. Just interact with us. We're here. It's what we do. Have fun taking your opinions, going back and forth. But Mountain West football tonight, Utah State at Nevada. Border war, Wyoming at Colorado State. So it's week 3 of Mountain West action. And, of course, the capper to the entire weekend is New Mexico and Hawaii. It is a late night one. 9 p.m. Mountain Time is the kickoff. So pregame coverage will start at 8. Lobo Radio Network over on News Radio KKOB. But you look at where we sit, in the Mountain West, and the favorites have done their job so far. And San Diego State and Boise State. And tomorrow night it's BYU, Boise State, which we'll get into in a second. It's a huge one for the Cougars. Their first big test this season. Also, just enormous to Boise State. They want to keep climbing that ladder. They want to be a team that's in the mix, group of 5 conversation. So they got to start taking these chances when you get them.
What's the weather going to be in Fort Collins tonight for that?
It's a great question.
Cold?
Gotta pull up my little weather.com app.
It's going to be low of 38. I think they're just fine. Does the weather even matter to either one of them?
If it's not cold, then it's not an issue between Wyoming and Colorado State.
Seriously. I mean, honestly. Now, in Honolulu tomorrow night, it'll be a whole different story. See? It's the beauty of that league. What's up, man? You good?
I am good, man. How are you?
Sorry about that. Could rain for the Lobos on Saturday night. Saturday scattered showers and breezy high of 86, and then Saturday evening scattered showers 40% and breezy. So who can run the football? Is weather a factor?
To both teams.
When you go out there, I always wonder this too. You always see the equipment truck, so you know that I don't know if everybody knows this. Teams like 95% of the time send their equipment truck in front of the team. So on Wednesday or Thursday, depending how far away, the equipment truck takes off, loads up all the uniforms, helmets, water bottles, sideline heaters, rain gear, all that stuff, right? Because you don't take all that stuff on the plane. You go to Hawaii. How do you get all your stuff over there? I guess it's all in the charter, and you take less. You got to load up your charter with all your extra rain gear and whatever it is, huh?
Yeah, a little more space below for your gear, etc. So a little more work to do when you're unloading that plane, and hopefully stay dry. Sounds like Saturday night.
Just bring extra stuff, I imagine. All right. What'd you watch last night? You get a little action?
Did get a little action. It was nice.
Check out the chips.
Did. As long as the power was on, it was all right.
Yeah, right. A nice little win for the Chips. Jim McElwain, and they were 2.3-point dogs. Beat Ohio last night, so got that done. Akron looked good. Akron looks like maybe the class of that league. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know really who the class of that league is, but it was just a nice little Wednesday night as you flip through, or maybe you did. Are you still watching election coverage? How many times can they go back to that same damn map and give me the same count?
Just keep going back. Let's go back.
Yeah, we're waiting for more votes out of Maricopa County. We're waiting for more votes. We're waiting for more votes.
The clicker is going back. The tallying the votes, and on something else. Back, counting more votes, on something else.
Yeah. Yeah, but a little action last night. If you enjoyed that, all right. I don't know what you got into in the first segment. I apologize. I had some technical difficulties here. Were you hitting on a little football? Were you hitting on the NFL? Where were you?
It was a little bit of everything. You know, setting the table as I like to do in the opening segment. Just discussing the 49ers and their situation. You know, they already are dealing with the injuries, life of a football team. But then you have the COVID situation of 4 more players placed on it, not necessarily for testing positive, but for the close contact tracing. And you wonder if you're San Francisco and even Green Bay, you know, Jamal Williams is out for close contacts as well because of their running back, A.J. Dillon. Now, is this a fair situation to ask both those teams to play Thursday night game this week?
No, I'd love to see them move this game because I got a fantasy football issue, and you know, really that's what it comes down to. But no, you've got 3 starters out if you're San Francisco. Plus, you know, you're dealing with whatever it is you're dealing with quarterback, and you're scuffling. No, it was, you know, I get as well as most people do the obligations, the television network obligations. But in this year, you know, can you give who gets the game? Is it Fox? Is it CBS? Whoever gets that game, I think they rotate, right? First half Fox and CBS and the NFL Network. They can get a game on Monday now or Tuesday, and I know that doesn't do much for anybody. This is a significant window. This pays a lot of bills. There's a lot of money that's involved in this. But to your point on competitive disadvantage, yeah, I totally think they're at a competitive disadvantage. But is it going to get any better in a couple of days? This is an exposure issue, right? That the reason that these guys are on the COVID list, this isn't necessarily that one guy tested positive and the other guys had been exposed, correct?
Yeah, but you get 5 days. So it's what we're seeing in Detroit with Matthew Stafford. If you test negative for 5 straight days, you're cleared and you can come back. And of course, in a short week when you're playing on a Thursday, and that's 3 to 4 day window, in this scenario, that takes that off the table.
Where did Matthew Stafford go in? So is he out for Sunday?
No, was placed on the reserve list just for a close contact, and so he's been tested every day since then.
So he can probably play on Sunday. All right, for the Niners, Kendrick Bourne is the guy who tested positive. He's a wide receiver. And so they put their left tackle, Trent Williams, a couple of wideouts. Brandon Ayuk is having a good year. Deebo Samuel also on the reserve list because they were in contact. They ruled Ayuk, Williams out for Thursday's game. Samuel had already been ruled out. He's got a hamstring injury. So, yeah, they're out. I got a question for you. So Jermichael Hasty plays tonight. Obviously, you figure he gets a lot of touches tonight. I got Chris Carson, who doesn't play till Sunday. What do I do with him, dude? Do I play Hasty tonight? I got a real issue here.
If you don't have another option on Sunday, you got to play Hasty because he's still going to be the focal point in this 49ers offense. They're still going to try to run the football a ton. He's a guy that's out there that, has performed, at least somewhat, the last couple of weeks.
My other option would be Joshua Kelly against the Raiders. I mean, the other spot is solid with Dalvin Cook. What do I do? I got to play Hasty tonight?
And that is indeed why the NFL is still rolling ahead. It's because they know people are going to tune in regardless. Thursday Night Football. Fantasy implications.
Yeah, because Chris Carson's on the shelf. He's not practicing till tomorrow, dude. So they're like, rest. He could go nuts over the weekend. He could go nuts on Saturday. What do I mean, I got a real issue, Micah. So you guys say
you really need this game to be pushed back to Monday.
That's my point. Do you understand my point? I mean, it would mess up Carlisle because then he'd have to work. They'd have to work until 7:00, and then they'd have to find program. By the way, that game, Niners Packers, you could hear it tonight after Lobo Talk. Lobo Talk at 5:00 here on the Sports Animal, and then we'll follow it up with the Thursday Night Football game. We think, which is the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. 505-246-06. You say play Hasty tonight?
Chris Carson is the biggest unknown, and if you have to resort to Kelly on Sunday, I feel better playing Hasty.
Yeah. 505-246-0610. Jerry Palm will be with us. That's at 8:30 this morning. We'll talk college football with he of CBSSports.com. SportsNetwork.com. Get into Lobo football on the road, always on the road, on the road, on the road, on the road. More COVID stuff. What's the NBA going to do? Are they really going to go here in a month and a half? It looks like they are. It's the opening drive. Happy whatever day it is. Glad you're with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We can all agree that life has changed over the past few months, but chances
Get
are
into the
you're
game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wild catch. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis. Albuquerque this afternoon. 34-24. Rancho. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards. He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more.
Back at you on I believe it's a Thursday. Yeah, that's right, because we get Thursday Night Football today. A little action yesterday. Hope you enjoyed the little football on your whatever day yesterday was. It's the opening drive, Jeff, JJ, and Micah. Lobo football is in Las Vegas. They've tested twice this week. JJ, 0 positives for Lobo football. They continue to do it well. Where was the report that they expect, because I've been getting all these emails, that they expect all the rest of the games to be on the road this season? Was that just kind of where the trends are going? Is that speculation? Is there a report on that somewhere?
I've not seen an official report on that or an official announcement. It's more speculation.
All right, because I heard Bob Clark say that. Yeah, I heard Bob Clark say it this morning. No, I don't. I must have missed something too if that's the case. I heard Bob talk about it on KKOB this morning, and I said, oh, okay, I guess I must have missed something, and I haven't found anything this morning, and I've gotten some emails on it. So, but I got confirmation that, again, another week, all of the tests within Lobo football have netted 0 positives in what they're doing. So what they're doing seems to be working. I know the governor's going to speak this afternoon at 3 o'clock. She hasn't spoken really in one of these press conference settings in a couple of weeks now. So we'll see more numbers, more records. Yesterday, hospitalizations went down, but a number of deaths, including it sounds like Prentice Jones, the longtime track coach who was beloved at Rio Grande High School, passed away. Had a heart attack and was COVID positive. And JJ, I didn't know Coach Jones. I think I met him a couple of times, but I can't sit here and say I know him personally, but I did see the outpouring yesterday and today, and obviously this gentleman touched a lot of lives. 75 years old, have been coaching down in the South Valley for a lot of years. And when you get a guy in a community, and I hate saying a community like that, but because I think any community, but certainly in a tight-knit place like the South Valley, who stays there, he started in 1972 coaching at Gallup High School, but he's been down there for a lot of years, and going back to the mid-'70s. I mean, you start thinking of all the generations of families who he has touched, and I've heard great things, not just in the last day since he's passed away, but over the years about Prentice Jones. Condolences to the whole Rio Grande High School family, and certainly to Coach Jones's family. It sounds like we lost a really, really good one.
Yeah, I never got the chance to meet him myself, but we know these educators, these coaches, throughout the state and the city have such a tremendous impact on so many people. And then you said, when you're talking generations and kids coming through, and maybe the kids of the kids, you call them, as someone that's been there, done that, tremendous impact. And it's always sad to see when you lose a person like that in the community.
Yeah, he played football at UNM. He's a linebacker at the University of New Mexico. You start thinking, man, you do something for damn near half a century. I mean, he started coaching in 1972. That's 48 years ago. You do something for half a century, you're doing something right. Right? I mean, you're doing something really, really well. And again, deepest condolences to the Rio Grande High School family and to Coach Jones' family, because it sounds like that was a pretty special one. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. JJ, so am I really believing? Yeah, I mean, it feels like the NBA season ended last week in October. They're going to pull off a start on the 22nd because they want to get in. They got a big TV package that would kick in, right? The big national TV package kicks in right around Christmas. Christmas Day is a big deal for them. They're going to go and make this thing happen, and it sounds like nobody wants to do it except the commissioner. But it feels like this is the way it's going to happen, huh?
Well, the guys that don't want to do it are the ones that were just playing in the postseason.
Okay, the best players, you mean?
Yes. So but there's also teams that have not taken the court since March. I get it. No one's gonna care about Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Hawks, etc. But there's also players that haven't played a competitive basketball game over that time frame. Now, these guys that just got off the court, they also had a bit of a break as well. So I think it's one of the NBA that, you know, all right, I know it's a short time frame, but deal with it. You know, we have to move forward as a league. It's huge for the potential revenue that they can bring in starting at the end of December versus pushing it into January. And you say, you know what, if you need your rest nights, take them. But as a league, they got a lot of teams that weren't playing late into the postseason. There's still other stars that need to take the court outside of LeBron James. So as long as you get on the same page, say, hey, LeBron, you don't want to play to start the season, fine. You can sit there. The Lakers deal with it. But I think this is something the league has to do, is get on the court sooner rather than later.
Well, you're looking at value between $500 million and $1 billion. That's a billion with a B. So you would be looking at a November 18th draft. What's today, the 5th? So a draft in 2 weeks from yesterday, which I mean, I'm going to assume everybody's ready for that. I assume your scouting departments and you've been ready for it. Camps would open up on December 1st, about 3.5 weeks. And then you've got league business. You've got free agency. That's going to have to basically happen within a week, right? I mean, 2 weeks. What are you eating, J. Pole? Man, all I see is this big wrapper in my face. Like J. Pole's face just bending into the camera. We're back on ProView Networks, by the way. But yeah, it's worth about $500 million to $1 billion in revenues to the league. And you know, when the leagues, you know, the players want their money, and I get where the league's coming from. And I do side with you on this one. I do think they got to get back and go. And to your point, LeBron James and AD, you won your championship. You had a 3.5, 4 month break. Yeah, it's a bummer. Nobody gets to go on vacation. We're in a pandemic. Where are they going to play, JJ? Is the plan to do a bubble again, or are we going back and kind of playing in empty arenas or sparsely populated arenas and doing travel somewhat like baseball attempted? Well, I'm not attempted. Baseball did it. Somewhat like baseball did. Because we're not going back into a bubble, right?
No, it would be limited and or empty arenas.
Depending on local ordinances. Yeah. And so that's where we're going in COVID testing, and because this thing didn't go away just because there's a new season and we're going into a new calendar year. So that's coming. You can't escape the NBA. Boy, is the NBA polarizing, isn't it? I guess I didn't realize it because, I mean, I watch it a little. I watch the playoffs. I guess I didn't realize how polarizing the NBA has become. I've been on social media for, you know, just watching it a bit. It's you're either absolutely all in or you're absolutely all out. It feels like. I mean, there's very few of me who are indifferent and in the middle. And I'll watch it. I don't. Yeah, what they're do what they're doing, get your message out. But I'll watch it for the entertainment basis. It's become a very, very politically driven, polarizing league. Do you feel that as much as I do?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's this point in time, not for everyone, but it's one that the players, whether it's just the game itself or the off-court stuff we see, they use their platform more so and have a bigger impact than other leagues, because we know the power one superstar can have on or off the court in the game. But I think, you know, this for the NBA in this situation, it would be good for them to get back on the court into December. I get it. It's a short off season for some, but that's, like you said, the price you pay at this point in time for playing deep into the postseason and winning a championship if you're the Los Angeles Lakers. It's not traditional. Nothing's been traditional about this season. You knew you were not going to get the same time off in between when you're wrapping up your finals in September, August, and September. And then you got to get everything in. You mentioned, you know, the draft, free agency. You know, a lot of work has to be done really quickly. But there's also plenty of franchises that were sitting there on the outside looking in, saying, "Hey, we're ready to get back." And it's not going to be totally fair across the board. But guess what? Too bad. We got to deal with it to move forward.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. We got to move forward. Micah, do I have anything on the log for right now in this break? Do I owe you? Do I have an obligation to you right now? I see you shaking your head. No? Now I can see you. That's kind of cool. All right, do me a favor. Send me those times when I do have those obligations, please. We're back on the ProView Networks. You can watch us on ProViewNetworks.com and Comcast Channel 26 and our Facebook page. And we're back on. Look at Jay Pull and Josh are back working tonight. Alden was there this morning. All I see, I look over to the screen, and I just see Jay Pull's face lean into the camera and just take a big bite of some burrito. And there's like, is that what you're eating? It's some burrito, and there's like the tin foil that's there. Yep. Look at those boys grubbing, JJ. What do you get? I get a cracker.
I can just see it now. There's probably just burrito wrappers everywhere.
I've been there. No, it's a pretty well-kept studio. The boss
Well,
makes
yeah,
them
the
clean it up.
studio, but you go back to where they're producing stuff. They got there. You don't want to go back there.
In the control room? I guess I wasn't allowed in the control room, was I? I was only allowed on the other side of the wall. Yeah. I was in recently, actually. All right, 505-246-0610. Keep them coming. I got some emails for you already. We could talk global football on the road. They'll be in Hawaii. 0 positive tests for them this week. Again, it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go.
Fork driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good.
Pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalon's going to go when he puts it away. And Corbalon wants to put it down. Here comes Las Cruces. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition. 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Domino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob, tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Tapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, twine. Well, he needed to get his legs back under him. Ooh, little kick.
All right, Lobo football on the road. They'll be in Hawaii. Late night for J.J. Buck on Saturday. Pregame show starts at 8. They'll kick it off a little after 9. You can hear it over on News Radio, KKOB. That's, what is that, 96.3 FM and AM 770. And then you do a post-game show after that?
Do a little wrap-up, highlights, analysis, sending you into your Sunday morning breakfast.
Have you figured out how to watch that game yet? Do we know how to get that game on television?
It says it's available on the Team One Sports app. But the research I've done in trying to figure that out hasn't been great so far.
All right, so you can do a public service, and since you've begun, I'm going to lean on you a little bit. Although I'll try it today if I have some time. I got a really busy day today, but I think it would be a good public service for our listeners tomorrow to let them kind of have an idea, walk them through it. Don't you think?
I will present as much information as I figure out.
Yeah, no, and I've asked Frank on that too, because you're going to hit 9 o'clock on Saturday, and you say, all right, I'm going to go down and watch the Lobo game, and you're going to start flipping around. Okay, Fox Sports, no, they're not there. Fox Sports 2, they're Pac-12 games. CBS, where the hell are the Lobos, right? You're going to go to all your basic show. Where's the Mountain? What happened? Are they on the Mountain tonight? Oh, the Mountain's not there anymore. They're on Spectrum Sports coming out of Hawaii. And did Frank send out a note earlier this week about how to somehow try to figure out how to get that? Because I do think that's going to be an issue. And as we well know, it is you're right to be able to watch the game. And I'm down with you. It's there. But it is your link. You're right to be able to watch the game this weekend, right?
It's just very nice to be able to view football games, yes.
All right. So I don't know, and I'll reach out to Frank also, and maybe even get him on tomorrow to have the two of you walk people through it. But how to get it, because this is not going to be just one of those, well, I bought all these TV packages and I deserve the game. And before you start, please don't throw this one at UNM and blame them. This is every time you go to Hawaii. So Hawaii's got their own television package, right? Hawaii is a football-only member of the Mountain West Conference. They're not part of the entirety of the TV package. They get their own deal. They got, it's just how it is. And so their home games are not part of it. And I would assume the networks probably are cool with that because they get enough games and they don't have the expense of sending their crew out to Hawaii every week or every other week, right?
Yeah.
We do have TV next week. The game against Reno, against Nevada on the 14th, will be on FS2, and that is a 4:30 Mountain Time start a week from now. FS2 6:18, is that about right?
6:18 on DirecTV.
Yeah, it's about right. So that's where it is. And we'll figure. So what did you do? You had to download an app, because I think people are going to need to start doing this before 9 o'clock on Saturday, right?
That is correct. That's as far as I've gotten, as I know where the game is supposed to be.
Okay.
So I've taken one step.
All right. Starting to X and O this one a little bit, and I, when you start to figure it might be raining a little bit, there might be some wind. You start leaning on the Lobo running game a little bit. Do you start saying, we might see some? I hear maybe see Nate Jones. I'm actually really excited to see Nate Jones, the freshman out of Southern California. Really, would you say this is a big offensive line game to establish the running game and start to be able to move the football on the ground? Wyoming did that last week. Xavier Halliday had a terrific game for Wyoming against Hawaii. Wouldn't you say to find a way to run the football and not put it all on Tavaka to try to sit back and throw it and come from behind is going to be key here?
Yeah, and there are two teams that run a spread offense, but the run game is the focal point of the spread. And Derek Wareheim said yesterday that they're not going to be able to win games or be who they want to be if they can't run the football. And it's evident when we see the RPO game getting Tavaka outside the pocket. It's not a traditional take that snap, drop back, air raid, 4 or 5 wide, throw the football down the field. They want to run the football. And that's exactly what Hawaii wants to do as well. As Todd Graham has the spread system, but it's based on running the football. So to your point, the offensive line both ways is going to be huge in this game. And it's just, what do you see from a full week of contact practice and a game? The execution, the timing, because the running backs, the offensive line, the tight ends, they all have to be on the same page. So that's something that I know Warhammer was really talking about, is seeing that the level of execution rise offensively.
Yeah. It's interesting. Last week you had such low expectations because they hadn't rubbed them together, because they hadn't been practicing in groups bigger than 5. Now you go on the road, you almost, week 2, you hear the biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2. You almost have expectations this week, don't you?
You do, especially offensively. That's where they're going to have to be good to give themselves a chance to survive. It feels like they're going to have to score a lot of points, because even with Danny and Rocky here, the defense is going to take a lot of time to turn around, to develop, and get to where they want it. And those expectations are sky high for those guys defensively.
1 minute.
Yeah. All right. 8:30 this morning, we'll talk college football. Jerry Palm's going to be with us. We'll get into, obviously, the big one this weekend, Notre Dame and Clemson. DJ Uiagalelei will be the quarterback for Clemson. DJ Uiagalelei. It's actually kind of, once you get there, it was kind of like Tua Tagovailoa. Once you figure it out, JJ, it rolls off the tongue. DJ Uiagalelei. Are you there yet?
Uiagalelei.
DJ Uiagalelei.
DJ Ukulele.
Uiagalelei. No, the ukulele is what they play out in Hawaii, where the Lobos are going. Uiagalelei.
I got some work to do.
J-Pole with a burrito. Kind of like that. J-Pole. Where's your burrito, J-Pole? Opening drive. Come on in. 505-246-0610. Glad you're with us on ProView Networks again at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
He'll be coming in soon. Double quick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a... Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Hidon puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Luscious. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Another!
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on in. Goal deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. What's it?
Get it stripped. Calion stripped him. Come Highland the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it.
What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. That's right. The geniuses that are ProView Networks have figured out a way. We're not back in studio yet, but via the Zoom device, they are giving you quality programming on ProViewNetworks.com. Comcast Channel 26 here in the greater Albuquerque metropolitan area. So you can tune in, and there we are, JJ. There's you, there's me. I can see you. I can see Mike. I can see J-Pole. I can see Josh and his little crab. Did you wash that thing? How often do you wash your mask? Like, what's etiquette? I mean, should you have a mask per day? Is it like underwear? You wear your mask all day day, you snot into it and you spit into it, then do you wear the same one the next day, or should you be washing it every day? What's etiquette? What's on mask wearing? I'm curious, honestly.
So we got different opinions back in ProView Studio. I think it did.
What'd they say? 2 days?
Is it 2 days?
All right.
2 days. Okay.
2 days.
I think it. It depends on how much you're wearing it. If you're wearing it every day for long periods of time, then you should probably wash it more frequently.
Or if you're just wearing it like you keep it in the car, you wear it, you go into the store, you wear it for 15 minutes while you're in the store, then you stash it back in your car, you wash that once a week. That one?
Probably get a little longer. You said, it's like the jeans. I could get a couple days out of the jeans before they have to go back in the washer.
Yeah, but I'm watching these two guys, right? They're sitting in their studio. I mean, obviously they're wearing it for, 5-6 hours a day. You're spitting into it. You're snotting into it. It's like your drawers, right? I mean, how often do you change your drawers? You change them? Don't you change them every? I mean, I do. That's just me. I don't know how often you change your drawers. But I'm just curious what mask etiquette is and how many should you have and how often do you wash it? And then do you put the mask in the dryer or do you let it hang dry? Will it rip? Like J-Paul looks like he's got a pretty good one. It's got form around it sticks around the beak and then wraps around the chin, where there's some of those that aren't as structured. So do you put it in the dryer or do you hang dry that? I'm really honestly, this is a new hang dry. Yeah, I hang dry my mask.
I put mine in the dryer for the first time and it shrunk. And I was like, crap, now I gotta go get a new one.
Which, what kind? Was it like one of these sports animal ones that we have? What was it?
No, I'm too afraid to wash or dry that one at all just because of the stuff that's on it. But no, it was just a plain gray one.
You gotta be able to wash it, man. Scott Cregan made that. I'm sure it's washable. And the design will stay on there. We got Dan wants a suggested OD name change, JJ. He says Jeffrey, Juan Jose, and Micah John. I just tuned into the ProView. Look at that. And I saw 3 goofy-looking guys. Maybe that could be the new show name. Oof. A new fantasy team name, 3 goofy-looking guys. Whatever. When you're a supermodel like Dan, a male runway model, I guess you can take a look at us and say, look at those 3 goofy-looking guys. Whatever.
3 goofy-looking guys. That's the next promo. I start my day with 3
goofy-looking guys. That's right. We can all say it. I start my day with 3 goofy-looking guys. I'm Bozo. Yeah, I'm down. Ooh, there's Hoser. Where'd you get the Hoser photo? Where'd that come from? Did he just send that to you? There's 4 goofy-looking guys. Hoser just sent that. Hoser, look at how Hoser wants to be in so badly. Like Micah, he's probably knocking on the door. I want my job back now that we're back on the TV. And he never got a camera in the studio. You almost should move yours. You're so totally backlit, you almost see just a silhouette of you, Micah. I don't know what more you can do about that. Ooh, that's what you could do about it. You could. But then you're sitting. Yeah, then you can close the blinds. All right, 246-0610, 888-922-0610. Last night you had Maction. Tonight you got Mountain. What do we call Mountain West weekday stuff? Mountain Waction? That's whack. That's whack. What would it be? Just Mountain West Thursday night games?
Yeah, don't have a cool little tagline.
Don't have a cute little name for that. Mountain West After Dark. The Pac-12 already took that. I don't know, whatever it is. How about welcome to the show, Pac-12 this week, by the way? Week 10, and here, hey, we're here. We want to play. How big of an influence does the Pac-12 have on the big picture this year? What's fair for them? By the way, Utah State and Nevada tonight. Nevada's an 18-point favorite at home against Utah State. And you get the Border Wars, you said earlier. Wyoming's in Fort Collins, 3.5-point favorite is Wyoming. With the Pac-12 joining the party now, Arizona State SC, Arizona, Utah, UCLA, Colorado, Stanford, Oregon, Washington State, Oregon State, and Washington, Cal. And I'm interested to see what Jerry has to say. How big of a story are they? Or are they, all right, they're out there. Yeah, they're still undefeated because they played 3 weeks while everybody else has been playing 10. How are they treated, do you think, in regards to the polls, the college football playoff, and even public opinion, because I think that matters this time around.
I think public opinion is always lacking for Pac-12 football. I mean, just talk about the East Coast, Southeast dominance in the game and in the conversation. The Pac-12 is always lagging behind. You're trying to climb that college football ladder. I think what's fair is if you have a team go 6-0 and then 7-0 winning the conference championship, they should be in that conversation. I think that's what's fair. So to me, there's zero room for error, just like the Big 12. You have one loss, you're done, because there's better one-loss teams out there that they're going to gravitate to in the SEC, potentially Notre Dame, potentially Clemson. Then we'll see in the Pac-12 or Big 12.
Is it that absolute that if you have one loss, you're done because there's better teams out there? I mean, is a one loss, let's say Oregon, and I don't know who the next, let's watch it play out, but let's say Oregon loses to, I mean, give me a good team. Is it going to be SC? Is it going to be Arizona State? Whoever it's going to be. Does that make them a automatically worse one-loss team than a one-loss ACC team?
I think if that one-loss ACC team is Notre Dame or Clemson.
Well, it's going to be because they play each other. It's going to be interesting, right? The Big 12 will not have an undefeated team. Everybody's got at least one loss. Their big names have two. You think Ohio State's going to run the table? I just don't see where they get beat. I honestly don't. I mean, they got who's touching them? They've already beat Penn State. Michigan doesn't look that good. Who's touching Ohio State? It looks like Alabama's going to run the table, doesn't it? I mean, you've always got to get through Auburn, and you've got the Iron Bowl, but they've already beat Georgia. So you figure there's going to be Alabama and Ohio State. I mean, this feels like every other year, right? Let's say Clemson loses this weekend to Notre Dame. They're playing with their backup quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei. And then they come back and they beat Notre Dame in the ACC championship. So you're saying that one-loss team absolutely gets in, right? And I think you're right because the Big 12's out at that point, right?
Yes. And it will be the narrative for Notre Dame Clemson this weekend is Notre Dame loses, then they're just not as good as we thought they were. Right. Notre Dame wins, then, Trevor Lawrence wasn't there, so of course, let's see him run it back in the ACC championship.
Yeah, no, I think all that's right. All right, let's say the Pac-12 doesn't have an undefeated. And let me give you a scenario. BYU runs the table, or is it Cincinnati or Boise State? Any chance? You're saying no. I know you've always said there's no way a non-Power 5 team will get in. BYU would have beaten nobody but Boise State and San Diego State in that scenario. Boise State would have beaten nobody but BYU and San Diego State in that scenario. Cincinnati would have run through the American, which I think is a little bit down this year. No way, right? Not even BYU?
No. I don't see it. Because they're going to say, all right, you have maybe two good wins, which I think ultimately, Boise State and San Diego State are going to be good football teams, so they would be good wins. But is that going to be enough to push them over a one, let's see if, Florida or Georgia? At that point in time, there'd be two losses. If we just assume Alabama runs the table, or a one-loss Alabama loses in a championship game. No.
And there's the scenario. There's the scenario where the SEC gets two. All right, we'll ask Jerry when we talk to Jerry Palm coming up at the bottom of the hour. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. At Kirtland Federal Credit Union, you are at the center. It's people helping people. It's local understanding. It's about that relationship. Because at Kirtland Federal Credit Union, you're a person, not an account number. And that makes a world of difference. Your family, and that means you can depend on Kirtland Federal Credit Union. They'll be there wherever you go, online, in a branch, over the phone. Get started today at kirtlandfcu.org. kirtlandfcu.org. You belong at Kirtland Federal Credit Union. Kirtland Federal Credit Union, they are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender, federally insured by the NCUA.
Wendy's is
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Let's play it over to Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
Over this first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it.
They're really...
Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hidon. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hidon. The two-hand hammer by Hidon. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh!
Nick Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Duma Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
It's good.
Oh my God!
On a last-second shot.
He did.
Oh
my God!
Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double-teamed and somehow found a way to get it in. Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hodnett sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Tommy on the line.
All right, you get a little NFL tonight here on the Sports Animal. 49ers and Packers. 49ers have 4 guys on the COVID list, 3 starters. Enjoy that. 505-246-0610. To the phones, Jeff Siembieda, J.J. Buck, and Micah. It's the opening drive. Hello, Tommy. Send us some truth.
Hey, what's up, Tom? The truth back at you guys. I think Green Bay kind of needs to win this tonight. They've lost 2 in a row, correct?
Yep, that's truth.
You need to bounce back. And I know you guys were talking earlier about mask etiquette, how you do your mask with me delivering food. I have 7 C95, of the C95 masks, and I just rotate them, but I steam them. I steam them inside out to make sure everything goes out. When I steam them, I had a hand steamer, or you can put them over like a screen thing on a pot of boiling water, and that hot steam kills all the virus. It does, because viruses don't like extreme cold or extreme heat. And it's a dang mask. I love the C95 mask, but they have that little piece of metal. If they didn't have that and that was plastic, I probably would microwave it for about 30 seconds in a special dish, like one just for the mask, because that would kill it too. And that's what I do to my rubber gloves. I'll microwave them. I have a special plate that I put them in for about 30 seconds and take them out, because I have to wear gloves for my job. But if you could steam them, that's probably one of the best ways to kill the virus.
So how do you steam them? How do you steam them?
Well, you get the C95 mask. You turn it inside out, because when you steam it, you want to have it turned inside out, and you put it on and you get a hand steamer, the steamers that they use for clothes. You can buy them at Walmart for like $15. Or if you want to be cheap, get a pot of boiling water, boil it, get a screen that goes over it, those screens that go completely over it, and set it on top there and let it sit there, I don't know, for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and turn it over, then turn it on the other side, and the steam does kill the virus.
All right, so that's for the M95 mask. What about the people who wear there's cloth masks? There's like material, right? Washable
The only
material.
thing I think you could do with them, you can wash them, but you could steam them as well if you want to. If you want to steam them, you can do the same thing. But then with those, you have to let them dry overnight. When I
You use a different one every day.
I let them dry. They're dry like a lot quicker, like 15, 20 minutes. They're already dry.
All right, you do a different one every way, though, right?
I wash them. I wash them and let them sit overnight, but I will steam it that night too. Just after it dries, I'll steam it just in case for a little while, just to kill the virus.
All right, so you change it like your drawers every day. You use a different one.
Well, yeah, I have 7 C95 masks, and I steam them after I use it that day, and then I rotate them.
All right, that's good.
I have 7, so.
That's good. Thank you, Tommy. How about some truth on mask etiquette? Yeah.
Tom Brady is the most beautiful man ever created. I'm going to say that the other day. Bye, guys.
See you. He is the most beautiful man ever created. So, JJ, you feel better? So you can steam your mask. So if you get those what are the M95s? Those are the more, I don't know, surgical or whatever. You can steam them. But most of us have been using those cloth ones, some sort of. So you throw those in the wash machine. But how often? And I guess if you're out there and you're wearing it all day, you can probably change that like your drawers. If you're like us and you go out to the store, you put your mask on for 15 minutes. You can put it back in the car, and I wash it once a week. I don't know. I don't even know what etiquette is anymore. You're snotting in it. You're spitting in it. You're virusing in it. Isn't that the whole point, to get the virus out?
Yes.
Call Barry Ramo. We call it. Get Barry Ramo on this, please. All right, 505-246-0610. In that game tonight, 4 Niners on the COVID list. 4 on the COVID list. Remember the story the other day on Tua? It came out, I think, on Monday. The reason that the Dolphins made the switch to Tua Tagovailoa was because they've got the Texans pick. And it's probably going to be a high pick, and they might use it on a quarterback. And so they're basically auditioning Tua to know what they have this year, right? We heard that, and reliable sources within the Dolphins organization tell us. Brian Flores is their head coach, and he said there's a couple of things out there. Quote, let's call it a source close to the Dolphins, saying that we are auditioning Tua. I'm just going to tell you about my thinking. We brought Tua here because we believe in him. Same as all the other draft picks. We believe in developing players and improving players on a daily basis. That would be the opposite of giving someone a 10-game audition. That's just my thinking on that, just so everybody's clear, end quote. So he's basically kind of refuting what Adam Schefter said over the weekend, that they're bringing Tua in while they were winning, playing with Ryan Fitzpatrick, playing fairly well with Ryan Fitzpatrick. In fact, in a position to make a run at the AFC East for the first time in decades, it seems like. But he says that's flat out not right. He said that's flat out not right. Do you believe him? Is that what the coach has to say to back up his quarterback? I don't know. He says, I'm comfortable with what comes out of these 10 games. Since I have been here, he says, I think everybody has heard me talk about the development of players, improvement on a daily basis. I just don't see how somebody close to the Dolphins thinking can say this would be a 10-game audition. Not sure where that came from.
There's a hint of truth in that. Of course you believe in him. He was your first-round pick, 5th overall. But there's no doubt that at this exact moment, that team is more competitive with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So Tua, yes, we believe he has a higher ceiling and potentially could be your franchise quarterback. But if you were really dead set on competing for a wild card spot, it would be with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So there's an element of, yeah, you believe in him, but this is no doubt an audition, because while the Texans aren't going to be in position to probably have a top 2 pick, and we're looking at Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, when you have the Texans pick plus your pick plus others, then you have ammo to potentially move up if you're like one of those guys.
So they were playing better, or at least let me say this: they're playing well with Ryan Fitzpatrick. They just beat the crap out of the Rams last week with Tua. Now, it's not because of Tua. Tua's numbers were incredibly modest. I think what they've done defensively, like look at the Dolphins. Are they legit? I think defensively they've gotten a hell of a lot better. Myles Gaskin seems like he's a good running back. They feel like they've got a few receivers. Like, are they just a cute little team?
They're
that's
competent.
picking
They're
teams
not
off?
legit. Legit is like a strong word to me.
So
Like, legit,
the Bills
I think,
would be legit.
I would say the Bills are more legit than Miami. I think Miami has taken steps as a franchise. I think Brian Flores is actually a guy that's come from New England that I actually trust him to be a head coach. I think he knows what he's doing. You look at just the way the team played last year. They were competitive. There weren't a lot of issues in the locker room, outside the locker room, and then you come into this season, and they've taken another step to your point. So I don't know, legit. I don't know.
All right, let me define legit. I'll define legit, because this is where I'll draw the line. Are they a legitimate contender to win the AFC East? And I think they are.
Phrasing it that way, yes.
Yeah.
I'm still on Buffalo. I think overall Buffalo's better.
I'm on Buffalo too. I am too.
But all it takes
is
is beating them once, and then
right.
There you go.
Right. I'm on Buffalo too. I look at them and I say, all right, they're 4-3, or whatever they are. Are they 4-3? I think they're a legitimate contender to win that division. Now, does that make them legit to make a run of the playoffs? That's not what I'm telling you. But I think you got to get in the tournament first, right? That would put them in the tournament. Are they a legit playoff contender for a wild card? Yeah, they're right there with the Raiders in Cleveland for that last playoff spot, aren't they? So they get Arizona this weekend. I think Arizona's better than them. But I thought the Rams were better than them. The Rams handed the ball away. I mean, they were just golf awful. Man, I'm really proud of that. I like that one. But I'm going to give them. I'm going to give them legit in regards to contending for that. I want to get into. And we're not going to do it in the next segment because we're going to talk with Jerry Palm. We're going to get into J.J. Watt's comments yesterday, because J.J. Watt has been the face of the Houston franchise, and he said, "I'm not sitting around for a rebuild. I'm not in for that." And it's going to be interesting what happens there. We'll do that coming up probably in the next hour. 505-246-0610 is how you get in. Jerry Palm's coming up in the next segment. Jerry's next, and then after that, here come the holidays, gentlemen. I know you're thinking, you're like we all are. You're thinking about how you're going to take care of everybody in your life. Don't forget to take care of you this holiday season. Guys, you cannot take care of anyone else unless you take care of yourself first. And if you're not feeling right, if you're dealing with fatigue, ED, erectile dysfunction, call New Mail and take care of it. In a year when everything seemingly is out of your control, this is something that you can absolutely control. New Mail's right here in Albuquerque. They can help you deal with ED, depression, even hair loss. You just have to make the call. 505-652-1688. That's 505-652-1688, or visit them at newmail, NUMALE.com. It's not going to take care of itself, and you can't ignore it away. And the bottom line is, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Men hit a certain age, and these things are normal. The beauty of New Mail is you can battle normal. You can feel better. Newmail's number is 505-652-1688. Enjoy the season and give yourself the gift of feeling great. Make the call. Newmail, 505-652-1688, or visit newmail.com. Feel better. Jerry Palm when we come back on the opening drive.
It's never a great...
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho! Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay. I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
Run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
Throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Step it up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye. Dropping. Looking. Stepping up.
Lobo football Saturday night. They will leave their temporary home in Las Vegas, Nevada, fly out to the islands. They play Hawaii, 8 o'clock pregame, 9 o'clock kickoff over on News Radio KKOB. JJ's got a long night with Lobo football. You had Maction last night. You get Mountain West action tonight and tomorrow. Pac-12 is back this week. I don't know if it feels like anything's back to normal because it's hardly that, but one thing that is normal is Thursday at 8:30 in the morning Mountain Time. We get to talk with Jerry Palm. I love a little J Palm in the morning. How are you, Jerry?
I'm fine. How are you?
You know, doing the best we can with what we got around here, like everybody else. It's we're going through a crazy time. I'm looking, what do I see, 3 games canceled this week, including your alma mater?
Actually.
4. What's
Yep.
I
Just
see
another one in the last 30 minutes or so, Tulsa and Navy, because of a COVID outbreak on the Navy team.
all right, I saw Cal might have a positive in their game against Washington's in jeopardy. So we got Purdue, Wisconsin, FIU, UTEP, Louisville, and Virginia, and then the Navy game. All right, but the big one's going to be Clemson, Notre Dame. DJ Uiagalelei will start again. This is interesting because, JJ, you put it straight up. The narrative is if Notre Dame loses, well, they're not as good as we thought. And if Clemson loses, well, Trevor Lawrence wasn't there.
I guess it depends on how DJ plays. I'm not even going to try that last
name. Uiagalelei.
Yeah, same to you. If he plays well and they still lose, I don't think you can really make the argument that it had to do with Trevor Lawrence. These are 2 good defensive teams in the top 10 in the country, both of them defensively. But the difference is that Clemson's offense has got more weapons. Notre Dame's offense has been, good at times, and at times it's not as good, but good enough to win. Not as good is not going to work against Clemson. Their offense is going to have to be productive. And if they can be, then they've got a chance to win. But they're not going to be able. They're not going to win a game they're not going to play a game that's something like 14-7. This game is going to get into the upper 20s, and Notre Dame's offense better keep up.
So at first I thought this was an elimination game, but I don't know that it is. Right, with the Big 12 not having and will not have an undefeated team. Lord knows what's going to happen with the Pac-12. The loser of this is probably going to get a shot to play their way back in the ACC championship game.
Maybe. If it's Notre Dame that loses, Miami's still sitting there with 1 conference loss as well, also to Clemson, and they don't play each other. So there's a chance that they could tie for second without a head-to-head tiebreaker, and I don't know how the tiebreaker works there, but it's no guarantee that Notre Dame winning out other than the Clemson game means they get another shot at them.
But it's not an elimination game in your mind, right?
No, it's not, because if the loser does get another shot, you end up with and then wins the second game. Now you're talking about a second week that doesn't have an undefeated team in it, and I would think the winner of the ACC championship would have an edge over whatever happens in the Big 12.
All right, then therein lies the conversation JJ and I just had. So let's just say you don't have an undefeated in the Pac-12, in the Big 12 or the ACC. Is there any path for an undefeated BYU, Boise State, or Cincinnati into the CFP?
Maybe, but it's going to take more than just that. The scenario that we talked about in the ACC, both teams could make the playoff, the winner and the loser. Or you could have a situation where Ohio State plays an undefeated team from the other division in the Big Ten, and both teams make the playoff. For BYU, I think Cincinnati's got a better case as an undefeated team because their schedule will be better. BYU is going to, if they are undefeated, they'll have a win over Boise State
and San Diego State.
San Diego State, but Boise State would be the best team probably that they've played. We'll see how good San Diego State is. In Houston, but otherwise their schedule is really soft, and I think Cincinnati will play at least 2 teams better than anybody BYU is going to see if BYU actually finishes undefeated.
Jerry Palm from CBSSports.com is with us on the opening drive.
Jerry, what is going on with Dan Mullen and the Florida Gators? They're a pretty good football team. They got Georgia this weekend, but that was a little wild last Saturday.
Say the least. Mullen's lucky he didn't get suspended. He was definitely not a peacemaker in that situation. But so he got fined. That was crazy. That I don't know what precipitated it. All I saw was the fight. I didn't see what precipitated it. But yeah, that's no good. They've got a big game this week with Georgia. Georgia's a field goal favorite. They're going to be shorthanded on defense. They've got a couple of guys out with injuries, and then the one LeCount, the defensive back, got hurt in a motorcycle accident this week. So he's out, but still lucky to be around because motorcycle accidents don't usually go so well.
That's
anyway,
Bobby Petrino.
Yeah. So so Georgia will be shorthanded. I don't know. I kind of like Florida just because of Georgia's defense being shorthanded because I think Florida's got a lot of weapons offensively. I don't know if I trust Georgia's offense enough.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a quiet week in the SEC, so attention got to go to the Big Ten. And Michigan, what a disappointing performance for them. But how about Indiana and the chance that they now have moving forward being a 2-0 football team?
Yeah, Indiana's obviously the win at Penn State. They were fortunate. Penn State gave them an opportunity that they probably shouldn't have, and Indiana took advantage of it. And so now they're sitting there 2-0 after beating Rutgers last week. Michigan, Indiana might have been better served if Michigan had won last week, and they might catch them fat and happy. But Michigan's going to go in there angry and more talented. And so I like Michigan this week. But Indiana, under Tom Allen, has done a good job of building this program up. To the point, they're not a competitor in the East yet because the East is still Ohio State. If Indiana was in the West Division, they might be one of the favorites. And so that gives you an idea of where that program stands right now, and it's been on the way up, so you got to give them credit.
Is Minnesota one of the most disappointing teams coming off a loss to Maryland? No.
Yeah, the only team that's given up more yards per game than them so far is New Mexico, and New Mexico's only played one game. It's one thing when Michigan lights you up, but when Maryland lights you up. I mean, Maryland scored 42 points and had over 500 yards against them after getting 3 points at Northwestern in the first week. Minnesota's defense has got some serious problems, and they've got some weapons on offense, but man, the margin for error for that offense, as good as it is 0, because you can't count on your defense to get a stop ever, and that's a huge problem, and especially in this league, and in this division where some of these offenses are pretty potent.
Penn State's got to be pretty disappointing, too. Jerry Palm's with us from CBSSports.com. All right, welcome back to the Pac-12. What is the effect of the Pac-12? JJ and I were talking. Is it, all right, they're there, and if they get undefeated, they probably get into the CFP. Yeah. I'm thinking even national perception, right? Thanks for joining the party in November. We've all been going, all right, cute, you have an undefeated team in mid-November. They play twice. Like what's going to be the effect of the Pac-12?
Well, they've got to have an undefeated team in mid-December for it to really matter. But I think for me, it's like welcome back. I'm glad to have everybody playing now, or at least all but three teams that are sitting out, and we've got a full slate of games pretty much every week now. As long as COVID doesn't cancel some, and I think it's great. It's great to have the Pac-12 back. Their reputation is a problem for them anyway. Just because of their performance in recent years. But if they can, manage to get an undefeated team through, I think we're going to see them in the playoffs.
Is Oregon the best team?
I think so. But USC is going to be pretty good too. Utah, Arizona State. I don't know who the real challenger is for Oregon in their division. Yeah. But I think that the top of USC's division, the South Division there, I think could be a couple of interesting games. And, I thought Arizona State might be one of those challengers, and they're, 11 or 12-point underdogs this week at USC. So, maybe USC is much better than I think they are.
Well, we'll see. I mean, first game odds are so hard to bet. It's like a crapshoot. Jerry Palm's with us for a few more minutes. BYU Boise State tomorrow night. And we've asked this question since the season started. How good's Boise State, or Brigham Young? I mean, we'll find out when they play Boise State. I don't know how good Boise State is. They've beaten up on Utah State and Air Force, and we'll see. I think there's a couple of good teams in this league. Nevada seems like they're pretty good. I think Wyoming's defense is good. I think they found something last week. But obviously it's Boise State and then San Diego State, and those are the two teams that are left for BYU. Who do you like tomorrow night?
I like Boise playing at home. I always like Boise playing at home, and it almost doesn't matter who they play. So, but I think it's going to be a real good test for BYU, and they've certainly shown that they're capable of beating, anybody on their schedule, and that includes the teams coming up. Isn't BYU a 3-point favorite? I think that's a pretty fair line. But I like Boise to win the game. I think that the Boise on the blue turf that's a tough assignment.
San Diego State gave up, I think, 25 yards in the first half to UNLV and paddled them. They gave up 7 points on the road to Utah State. I don't know. You look at what they did last year. I think that was a 10-3 football team with the 6th-ranked defense. Do you give them any credit, or at what point do you start saying, all right, San Diego State might be one of the better group of fives as well?
Well, when they play somebody, because UNLV might be UNLV is certainly among the worst teams in the Mountain West this year.
Yep.
And I don't know that Utah State is that much better this year. It's a down year for them, too. So, when they play, I don't think they get Boise in the regular season, right? So they're going to play
Jose
BYU.
State this
That'll
week.
be a good test. If they get, Nevada or Wyoming, I think those are pretty good teams. I just want to see San Diego State play somebody better first.
Yeah, they'll get San Jose State, Hawaii, then Nevada, BYU down the road. Yeah, that's what they got left. San Jose State, Hawaii, Nevada, Fresno State, Colorado State, and BYU. So there's not a lot
so
out
that
there.
Nevada game will be there. That BYU will be where we find out, or unless, of course, they get upset in the meantime. Those are the two games on their regular season schedule where we find out something about them.
Yeah. All right, JJ, got anything?
Jerry, is Cincinnati in the driver's seat? Are they the best Group of 5 team right now?
I would say yes. The last 2 weeks against better teams in the American Conference, their defense has been really good all season long, but then the offense stepped up the last 2 weeks as well. And those dominant performances, I think, put Cincinnati at the top of the Group of 5 at the moment.
All right. Enjoy the weekend. I got JJ here. Uiagalelei. DJ Uiagalelei. You're just going with DJ?
Yeah, I'm just calling him Jay. Yeah, I hope he's not offended.
No, I'm sure he's not.
Because he's a big guy.
He's thick. He is. He is. All right, enjoy the weekend. Read him every day over on CBSSports.com. Follow him. It's JP Palm on the Twitter. Jerry, catch you next week. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, thanks. You too.
Thanks, as always. Jerry Palm from CBSSports.com. So Cincinnati's in the driver's seat, he says. He's kind of wait and see on the Pac-12 as well, isn't he?
It's kind of all you can do at this moment in time. They're only scheduled to play 6 games. Something is going to come up. You hope if you're right now, Oregon and USC, seem to be the favorites in that conference. Just keep your fingers crossed you don't lose a game, because that's really going to come back to hurt you when we start talking about the college football playoff. And it's going to be different because guess what? Right out of the gate, Arizona State, USC, that's a 9 a.m. Pacific kickoff on Saturday. So you want to get on TV, you're playing breakfast football.
10 o'clock in the morning for us. And, by the way, that's one of my favorite games of the weekend. 246-0610, come on in. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal. It's Chavez to the middle. And Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. All day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcat! Not a defender inside. A little bit. Kowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown! Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Deckerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards. He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way. Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up off the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds, into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portel.
Lewis and in the play action looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown.
So Davison back to toss it. He's got all day. It's one miss, and he's rolling. He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
We told you he
touchdown.
could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the wind in his back, but
Thanks as always to Jerry. Hey, you know how we were just having this conversation about the Dolphins a little while ago? Are they legit? And you said define legit, and I said, I don't know, legit contender for the AFC East. Myles Gaskin, their leading running back, knee injury, injured reserve. By the way, that kills a lot of your fantasy teams too. So no Myles Gaskin. Matt Breida's got a hamstring injury, so it's back to Jordan Howard. Does that mean anything to you? I think Gaskin's been terrific. I didn't buy into him at all.
Been very good for that offense. It's more pressure on Tua. Got to push that football downfield, open her up. He had 93 yards passing against the Rams. It was an unbelievable day defensively and on special teams for the Dolphins. But now it's on Tua to open it up and see what step he has taken from his week 1 to now week 2.
If you were going to stream a defense, you play Washington against the Giants. You play Houston, who's not been a good defense, but they're playing against a rookie quarterback making his first start at Jacksonville. Or do you play Arizona against Miami, who now seems like they have no running game, and Tua's making a second start? Which defense do you stream?
Arizona, Houston, Washington.
I like Arizona too. Well, Houston fascinates me just because, I mean, you have no idea what you're going to get out of that rookie quarterback in Jacksonville. No idea. They get Chark back. Can they run the football? I mean, they did the first couple of weeks. I just don't. Jacksonville, didn't they win their opener? Right? Who'd they beat? They maybe beat Cincinnati in their opener?
No, they lost by 3 to Tennessee.
Who'd they beat then? They finally beat someone. Because they were the only team that lost to 3 undefeateds in a row, which has never been done in the National Football League. I don't know, man. Who do you stream? Arizona's interesting. I like Arizona's defense to begin with. No. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Emails come in this morning. Jeff at 610knml.com. What do you got?
So Jacksonville week 1 beat Indianapolis.
I thought they did win week 1, yeah.
27-20, and it was week 2 they had that 3-point loss to the Titans. And you're sitting, that's when you're like, oh, Jacksonville, Gardner Minshew, maybe they got something, and no.
Yeah. All right, Omar said it's a rivalry game, Jeffrey. Yesterday you asked about the narrow spread. When it's the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers at Texas Stadium, you throw all the records out the window. Coach Jones might have to bring Roger Staubach in to be our quarterback, but I'm expecting a very competitive contest. Good for you. Did that spread move? Is it still only 13.5? Because I didn't get to the casino. Like, what don't I know? Isn't that still something where you're kind of going, huh? They're going to throw Garrett Gilbert, or they haven't made a decision, right? It's Garrett Gilbert or Rush. Which Rush are we going with? Geddy Lee? Cooper Rush, not Geddy Lee. Come on, somebody hit me with it. Somebody understand what I'm saying. None of you understand it?
Yes, Rush, the band.
All right.
I got it.
All right. It's up to 14. It's up to 14. All right. Do you have a favorite bet on the board this week? That's got to be it, right? Steelers minus 14?
That's up there.
I like the Broncos getting 4 in Atlanta. You buying into your team? Big comeback?
1 minute.
I'm buying into Tennessee this week, too. I think Tennessee's got a big comeback this week, too, although they're 6-point favorites against the Bears. The Bears. All right, I want to talk about Texas when we get back. You got a star player, the face of your franchise. What do you do? This could be anywhere. You got face of your franchise. He's been active in your community. He's been great. Says, I don't want to stick around for a rebuild. You're going through a rebuild. What do you do? 505-246-0610. Emails this morning, Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. We're back on the ProView Networks, J-Pole. That's right. We're back on. You can watch us on Comcast Channel 26. Find us on ProViewNetworks.com. Go to our Facebook page. We're there too. We're back on the TV because the geniuses at ProView Network got it figured out. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Here's Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes it.
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop too.
Maybe the gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a...
Hill, little step, high window, with a... Got the second.
To the middle. Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window. Finishes.
There's a run coming from...
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime. To shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
Here's a long three.
Boom.
Bang.
Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Ford driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition.
But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. But here comes Screechers. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition, 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to Get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer.
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji. Into Watson with the jam.
Rolling through a third hour of our program, final hour that we do today. But you get football tonight here on the Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda, J.J. Buck, Micah, J. Pole, and J. Bro. ProView Network's back in our world, or us back in theirs, or them back in yours. We're back on the visual medium. ProView Networks is simulcasting the show on Comcast Channel 26 here in the greater metropolitan area. You can watch it on ProViewNetworks.com. Go to our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. You can watch it there as well. It's the opening drive, Jeff Siembieda, J.J. Buck on a Thursday where you get Packers and 49ers. J.J., I mean, it looked like that would be a really good one, actually. A rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. 49ers beat the Packers to go to the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers and Jim. No Jim. Aaron Rodgers coming off of 2 straight losses. You'll get the guy you never heard of 3 weeks ago, Jermichael Hasty, running the ball for the 49ers. I don't know who Nick Mullins is going to throw to all night. You got to believe it's a Packers game, but you get interesting Thursday night football nonetheless.
I guess interesting is a intriguing way to put it. The 49ers are at a big competitive disadvantage in a short week. Yes, the Packers are dealing with missing Jamal Williams in terms of the close contact tracing with their running back A.J. Dillon testing positive. Aaron Jones still questionable with the calf injury. Doesn't look like he's coming back. But then you mentioned, all right, who's Nick Mullins throwing to? Well, Brandon Ayuk, their first-round pick, COVID list. Deebo Samuel, COVID list. George Kittle out, foot injury last Sunday. It's going to be rough.
J.J. Buck eligible. Yeah, J.J. Buck suiting up for the Niners tonight. Get up to, where are we playing? We playing this game in Green Bay tonight? Get up there.
Send me the private jet.
Might be chilly, too. No, I'm sorry. You're going to have to catch a commercial flight. We can't afford the private jet. I mean, we got to pay you $200 to go play the game. That's how it is. All right, other NFL stuff, and I want to get into this a little bit. This is tough for a franchise, and I think it's going to be a real interesting off-season conversation. You get a guy in the Houston Texans who has been about as good as you can ask a guy to be for a franchise in the community, right? You've got J.J. Watt, who's been there, and has been great. Texans stink. He's really good. He says, I'm not in for a rebuild. Texans, JJ, I think are in for a rebuild, don't you? And I don't know what that means and what that, how do you handle your best player, your franchise player, the face of your franchise?
I guess, too, we're back to defining what is rebuilding, because they should be closer. They have a franchise quarterback. Yeah. I think Deshaun Watson is a guy that absolutely has the talent and can be in that upper tier conversation. So they shouldn't be far off in that regard. It's a restart, moving on from Bill O'Brien. This doesn't seem like a franchise that needs to tear it down, because usually when you're in that situation, you're looking for who's going to be your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of draft picks. They traded away a lot of draft picks. They traded away their best player, DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know what you're doing. Your defense isn't that good. I mean, you got a really good player on defense. You got a couple of good players on defense. What are you doing? Is it a destination? Is it going to be really dependent on who it is they hire? Is this where Lincoln Riley ends up? We hear so much about the Oklahoma coach. Every NFL job that comes up that's somewhat regional, right? He's up in Oklahoma. Does he drop down to Houston? Is that a good job? I think it's a good job. I think that is a division in which you can compete. You're looking at the Jaguars and the Colts and the Texans, and I mean the Titans are the best team in that division. But I think it's not overwhelming. So I think that's a good job for somebody to come in. And you look at the roster, it's not barren. How do you convince J.J. Watt this isn't a rebuild? It's a reboot in some respects, to how you put it, and we're going to be able to turn this around next year. And here's why: we have this quarterback. Believe in David Johnson. By the way, do I play him? Never mind. Believe in David Johnson, and Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks and what we've got on defense. It's a tough sell, man, because they don't win.
And this was a team that was up 24-0 in the playoffs last year against Kansas City.
Yeah,
like that's how quick life comes at you in the NFL. They were rolling in the postseason, so they're not that far away. They haven't been good this season, but I don't think, to J.J. Watt's point, it's a total rebuild. They have things they need to fix, and they're going to have to get creative because they do not have a lot of draft capital. But then I also look at J.J. Watt, and I say it's unfortunate that he's been injured as much, but you're a dude that's getting a lot of money to be a leader on that defense, and you also have to step up and play well.
Yeah, it's not like he's been doing it either. No, that's a really fair point. It's not like he's been killing it. I think this is one of those where it goes a little deeper than just the player on the field, right? I'm trying to find a parallel, and I know there are some, where you hold on to a franchise guy, and I don't know if he's at the back end. Do you think he's at the back end? Is J.J. Watt at the back end? Is he on the decline? He still may be very good because the peak was very high.
Compared to, I think, the way people still think about him, yes.
Yeah, I think so too. And so, do you go Kobe on him and reward him with a lifetime achievement contract and handcuff yourself? Or is that's the game, man? If you don't like it, we'll find a place for you and you can go. But this is the direction that our franchise is headed. And I mean, you know how many fans love that. Like, give me another guy that you associate with and say that's a Houston Texan. Is there another guy?
There's not.
Right? I mean, they're a relatively new franchise. The Oilers became the Titans. I mean, if you say, who's the 49er? Oh, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. Who's the Rams? You got plenty of them. Who's a Bronco? John Elway. Who's a Texan? Right? I mean, that's really been the face of that franchise. I think you got a tough, I don't know, you'll get over it. Like everybody, Tom Brady's a Buccaneer. I get it, right? This is the business. I'm going to tell you, I think J.J. Watt's somewhere else next year.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. Look at contracts. You're going to have to move some stuff around to be more active free agency-wise. As we mentioned, the draft capital that they moved to acquire the left tackle, Laremy Tunsil, from the Dolphins a couple years ago. So it's one that they're a 1-6 football team. They're not any good, but it feels like they're closer to turning that corner than other teams we've seen in this situation. Because it does start with that guy, Deshaun Watson, who I still believe is that good. It's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league for quite some time. When you have that starting piece and you bring in a new coaching staff, you get creative in the offseason, I'm right with you. That's a team that should be back to competing next season.
Yeah. All right. I just it's an interesting situation there. All right. 505-246-0610. You get some Mountain West football, and I want to talk a little bit about that when we get back. You got Maction last night, Mountain West tonight and tomorrow. The biggest game of the league certainly is tomorrow night. I think with Boise State and BYU as far as long-term big picture impact. So we can talk about that. Your emails come in, Jeff at 610knml.com. JJ at 610knml.com. It is the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4
Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A three for
Set out to Tapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good. Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing. Playing it.
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this. They're going to go score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak. Ahead of the pack. Davina Lovato. Up high. Down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve. Has that ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3-ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A little jump step in the. And look out, here comes Akbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back, LAU, put it down. Dunkalicious, how about it?
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride.
Opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. Football tonight in your ear, Niners, Packers. No Jim. Do we see Jim again this year? Do we see Jim ever again in a Niner uniform? Jim was their guy, man. Niner fan was so pumped. We got Jim. See him ever again in a Niner uniform? Because I'm going to guess maybe not.
No.
I think you're right. I think you're right. We're getting these emails on Kaepernick to the Cowboys. Why aren't the Cowboys reaching out to Kaepernick? They're going with Connor, Cooper, Rush, and Blaine, Gilbert, Gabbert, and Jim DiNucci or Ben DiNucci. I mean, yeah, if you have to ask the question. Like if there was ever, if you ever needed affirmation, that Colin Kaepernick, and maybe it doesn't work in that market. I mean, maybe it works better, and he's already burned his bridge in San Francisco, it feels. You know, it would be a San Francisco. It would be a Philadelphia. It would be a D.C. But, I mean, you look what D.C.'s doing. They'd rather go with Kyle Allen. Niners would rather go with Nick Mullen. Cowboys would rather go with benched the Nucci and Cooper Rush and or Garrett Blaine Gilbert. Who is it, Garrett Gilbert? Who's next week? Mark Malone coming back? I just, to your point, you know why. Do you think part of it is the market? Like even if Jerry wanted to sign Colin Kaepernick.
Let's just end it. Jerry would never want to sign Colin Kaepernick.
Understood. All right, let's say you were the owner of the Cowboys. And knowing that market and knowing that fan base and knowing the thoughts in that area of the country. Could you, I mean, would you go out and bring Colin Kaepernick in? Knowing some of the thoughts, the passions of your fan base?
If it meant winning football games.
Well, you have no idea if he does or not. I mean,
that would be the whole reason you'd make a move like that, not to make a statement in Dallas.
No, I'm not looking to make a statement. I'm looking to win football games. I'm going to tell you that Mike Holmgren and Jerry Jones will tell you that Cooper Rush, and they'll tell you this with a straight face, or what is it, Garrett Gilbert, Blaine, what? Gives you a better chance of winning than Colin Kaepernick does right now. The Colin's been out of the game for 4 years, and Cooper looks great in practice. I mean, who was it? Brandon Whedon throws the best spiral you've ever seen. Oh, what a great ball he throws. Gives us a better chance of winning than Colin Kaepernick. For all intents and purposes, it might be right, JJ, or it might be absolute BS. I don't know. I haven't seen Colin Kaepernick play a football game in, almost 4 years. I have no idea what he can still do. I mean, I saw video of him at a high school last November in suburban Atlanta, throwing a ball around in shorts. Look great. But they'll give you, if you ask them that question, you would get an absolute straight-face answer. No, we believe that Cooper Rush, or Gilbert Blaine. Gilbert gives us a better chance of winning than Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, that ship has sailed. It's not even a legit question. I think Kaepernick understands where he's at and where his life has gone. The NFL has moved on from Colin Kaepernick. Is their situation where he could have been the best option in multiple places at a certain point in time? Yes. And that time is well in the past and not here anymore. And of course, in practice, all these guys probably look okay. It's a totally different thing when you step on that football field and you got a defense that's blitzing their tails off to put you on the ground. Look at what happened to Ben DiNucci. Look at what's going to happen this week in a Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert against that Steelers defense. So absolutely, things can look good in practice. You have the trust as who's on our roster. When you get down to quarterback 4, quarterback 5, it's not going to look good.
Garrett Gilbert looks great in practice. Colin Kaepernick looked great in shorts in Atlanta.
But Clayton Mitchum, I think Oregon scored 72 points and stopped playing, so they didn't score 170.
Was it Clayton Mitchum who threw the most unbelievable ball you've ever seen? Oh.
It might have just been the air in Ruidoso that made it look better.
Michael,
the lighting.
He throws an unbelievable spiral. You watch it. It's an unbelievable spiral. The most beautiful pass I've ever seen.
Practice matters when you want to hit those helmets together like the Lobos are doing this week, but it's still practice.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Gopher said on the road again, ? Jeff, I heard it reported by Bob Clark this morning that the Lobos are playing all their games on the road. If this is true, can you play me some Willie Nelson? It's not been decided. I got word on that this morning. I don't know where Bob got that. I don't, honestly. And I saw it somewhere else. But from the horse's mouth this morning, so to speak, it's not been decided. There is no absolute on if the Lobos are going to play. All right, Sean, good morning. What's up, Sean?
Good morning, sir. So just to go off your conversation, and we're not talking about the Jets here, believe it or not.
I
but
don't.
That may come up. Why didn't the Cowboys trade for Fitzpatrick?
So I mentioned that earlier, and the only reason would be because they're still in the division race. What are you giving up for Fitzpatrick? And I guess, JJ, is Fitzpatrick worth a 5th-round pick right now? I would say yes, and put him in and try to salvage your season.
Well, I think the situation was, I don't think they thought Andy Dalton was then also going to go and end up on the COVID list following his concussion.
Yeah, and you figure, Sean, to your point, you're getting him back next week.
Danucci give you enough space that you just need him behind Dalton for the rest of the year?
No, I think you're thinking Cooper Rush, Garrett Gilbert, Danucci, but you think you're getting Dalton back next week, and you're not going to win this game probably with Dak Prescott in there, let alone Andy Dalton. So you figure you're going to get beat here, and make a run at the division. You're a game and a half back, even though you're going to be 2-7.
Even for teams like the Jaguars, why wasn't Fitzpatrick an option? Hell, even Joe Flacco. I managed to get the Jets in there somehow, guys.
Do we know that the Dolphins are?
I don't think
willing
the
to
Dolphins
part
would
with,
want to trade him anymore.
Yeah. Why do we think that the Dolphins want to trade Fitzpatrick?
If they wanted to go away from Fitzpatrick, they should at least give the guy his due to go play somewhere else. He deserves that at least.
That'd be the nice thing to do, but I'm not sure this is a nice league. Sean, thanks for the call. I brought that up the other day, JJ. What about Fitzpatrick? But that would be the assumption.
Well, it's okay. We can run this down. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not going to go to Jacksonville. The Jaguars are kind of content. They stink. Whatever. They're going to be Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, moving forward for the rest of the season. If you're Miami, you're not going to. Are you just going to move Ryan for a 6th-round pick just because? Or what if something happens with Tua? Then you want him back out there. So I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick was ever a legitimate option, and the team's not going to be like, oh, here's a 2nd-round pick so we can play Ryan Fitzpatrick 7 games because we're playing a terrible division in the NFC East. And then also the thought process was you figured if it wasn't against the Steelers, Andy Dalton would be cleared to come back. Now he lands on the COVID list. So I think that's where you're looking at it from Dallas. It was losing 2 games in a row is actually not the worst thing when it looks at the NFC East. Like you figured out, get Andy Dalton back, we'll take our chances the rest of the way.
Yeah, and like you said, I just don't know that Fitzpatrick's on the market. All right, I'll do this. Good morning, Lance. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm still trying to recover from terrible Tuesday. No sports talk for you. And you started hanging up on everybody. Why do you two hate me so much? I've been calling for 25 years.
Nobody hates you, Lance. We love you.
Well,
Just can't take your day.
So, but anyway, I was told by Micah, who said, please don't put me on hold behind Edward. The last time I called him, guess what happens? Just like Donald, he hates being on hold behind, Edward. But anyway, really quick, I wanted to go to the Lobos, but I'll be fast as I can. Coach Fangio came out in the second half after halftime with a Band-Aid on his nose and his glasses gone. He really got after that team. He got in a fight with somebody in that locker room, and nobody even said anything about that. It's like, is that Coach Fangio? So, he found a way to light a fire under him. But this is my thing about the Lobo thing. But they're on the road. At least they can practice in pads and do tackling and get after it. But the other thing is, if they come into, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. If they come into town, they have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. It's not like me and you just going and driving out of the border and coming back. I mean, the governor knows who they are. So I'm wondering if that's part of the process, too. To where now you're quarantined and can't leave, and the games are, just all of a sudden aren't just.
It's a big part of it.
Yeah,
it's a big part of it.
I just nobody ever brought that up, and I'd like you guys to explain that. And I love this station. It's a big part of my life. It's helped me through a lot of difficult times in my life, and I just hope you guys realize that.
No, appreciate you, Lance. Be well. And dude, I love Lance. We're just no tolerance Tuesday. I said we're not going to do any color on color crime anymore. That's where it was. Good to hear him back. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. JJ, you want to get into Mountain West schedule tonight when we get back?
Yes, sir.
Got 2 games tonight, 2 games tomorrow, so we'll do that when we get back. Hey, I want you to think about this. It's not a pleasant thought, but at some point you got to think about that somebody might be watching your home or your business. If a criminal wants to break in, they are going to do it. They're going to notice when it is you come and go. That's why I use IPS. International Protective Service protects my home. They've been watching my home for years. Aaron Jones is the owner, and he has highly trained, armed officers that can be the eyes protecting your home or business. They got on-site guards or 24-hour patrols. Bad guys then cannot predict the times to target you. Call them at 897-2420. 897-2420. You can go to ipsglobal.com. They're committed to making Albuquerque a safer place to live and do business. I just telling you, when people see them, and I watch them, they come by the house on a regular basis. Every single day they're here. There's a patrol. They pull out front. If you have a trip, they will watch your home. They will patrol the perimeter every day, pick up the newspapers, the mail, give your home that lived-in look. If it's garbage day, they roll the garbage cans to the curb and back. International Protective Service, give your family peace of mind, 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. Go to ipsglobal.com.
Get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question.
On
got
a
another
steal
one
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
We're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out! Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds, touchdown, Volcanovis!
That replay,
I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Tapia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up. Man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and.
I mean, he said Lobo football's playing all their games on the road, and that's not been determined. So we're on the ProView Network, so that's real news. You can watch the show on our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. You can watch us on Comcast Channel 26 here in the greater Albuquerque metropolitan area. Of course, on ProViewNetworks.com. Anywhere else, Jay Pohl? Did I miss anything? Is that all the spots? Did you get a burrito? Where'd you get your burrito from this morning? It doesn't matter. JJ, I got a email from Omar, big Cowboy fan. He says, I would rather the NFL's most complete franchise bring in Jonathan Paul football than, and it says here, Creeper Nick. I believe, and I think you do too, do you believe that Cowboy fan would rather Johnny football than Colin Kaepernick?
I'm sure there are people out there that believe that. And it's just not a conversation anymore. It's like you want a hot take, throw Colin Kaepernick's name out there. I told you 4 years ago he was never going to play again, and here we are.
You did. No, you absolutely did. You absolutely did.
You could just see how it was going. He was going to be the guy that ultimately took the fall for everything. He's doing fine himself with his endeavors and the things he wants to do, which is fantastic. He's following those things, and the NFL has moved on from him as a quarterback.
I think that's right. And so maybe Johnny Football can come back. Actually, would you rather see Johnny Football or Cooper Rush, Mike?
100% Johnny Manziel.
I mean, wouldn't you?
120%.
At least it would give you a reason to watch the damn game, wouldn't it? Cooper Rush, Garrett, Gabbert, Gilbert, Gabbert, Blake, or whatever, benched the Nucci or Johnny Football. What do you want to see?
Johnny Manziel.
Micah? Come on. You're a Cowboy fan. You're in contention, or at least you think you are.
Cooper Rush.
Wearing the hat.
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
As much as I love Johnny Football, no.
Love Johnny Football?
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I mean, as a guy, I really wanted him to succeed out there in the CFL, see a little bit of a comeback, and it just didn't happen. And now he's just spending all his money partying, and he would not be a good quarterback over Cooper Rush or Gilbert or. Just
Do you have
Jerry wanted to draft him, remember?
Backup that he's just spending all his money partying.
I mean, look at following his Instagram and seeing all these pictures of him just out everywhere golfing at all these nice places. I mean, that's what I assume. So.
Yeah, I never trust people that golf all the time. That's one rule of mine. But also, CFL ain't that easy, right? Everyone just says, go to the CFL, go to the CFL.
It's like playing high school ball. Right? I mean, that's what people think. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you'll go there and rip it up. He went up there and got ripped up.
I don't even know if he started a game.
I wonder if that was ever even a conversation. You think Jerry in a back room said, what about Johnny? Well, I always liked Johnny Football. What's his name? Johnny Football? Steven, don't you think he can come in? Can we get him for a couple bucks a game? Well, Daddy, I think Johnny football will be good, but have you seen his Instagram, Daddy? He's out partying, playing golf, and I don't trust nobody who play golf all the time, Daddy, and he's with all them girls. Well, I like the girls. I do like they're pretty girls, and I think Johnny could play. Go get him. Okay, Daddy. Okay. You don't think that happened?
I think the name popped up on whatever whiteboard, big board they have. Someone was like, "Hey, this guy. Should we call him? What do you think?"
More practical solution: Kellen Moore or Johnny Football to play quarterback for the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones.
Kellen Moore.
Don't you think? I mean, can Kellen still play? I don't know if Kellen could ever play in the NFL. I'm a big Kellen Moore fan. I mean, I don't know if he could ever play at that level, but I mean, who would you trust more to play?
Wouldn't have to worry about communication, play calls.
He knows the offense.
Your offensive coordinator is your quarterback. He can adjust everything right there on the field.
The last time Kellen Moore played was when he subbed in for Romo back in 2011 with the Cowboys. So what? It's 9 years
he started
since
a game.
Played?
Was it that long ago?
I think so. It was back when Romo got hurt, and there was that whole, who we throwing in there? Whedon, Moore. So I think that was the last time.
So we're kind of where we are now. Yeah, same situation. God, if that was 2011, JJ, you know how old that makes me feel? I knew Kellen Moore when he was 5 years old. And it's been 9 years since he's played in the NFL already? Like he's old.
It was not. It was not 2011. It was 2015.
Okay. Well, I feel less old. If that does anything for you. Kellen Moore, Johnny
two games in 2015.
He did. How did he do?
He was 0-2.
Well, every Cowboy.
Game one.
Yeah. I mean, he was 0-2. Does benched DiNucci ever play again in the NFL? Ever get on the field again in the NFL?
He'll never get a start in the NFL.
Will he ever get on the field again in the NFL?
Yeah, there's
because
a chance.
When? If Andy Dalton's coming back, let's assume he's back next week. And we're assuming that. It could be 3 weeks. I don't know. You got these two guys who are now in front of him. Like, he's been relegated from starter to fourth string in a week. I don't know if that's ever happened, but you went from starter to fourth string in a week. How's he getting back on the field?
He's the next Kellen Moore. He'll be an offensive coordinator in 5 years.
He had his one
back
chance.
On the field. Someone gets a concussion, someone gets a COVID. We're right back in this situation where we're spending way too much time on our show talking about Ben DiNucci.
That's a really good point. Hello, Paul. Save us. How are you, Paul?
I don't know if there's any saving this talk. The Cowboys are done, and so is that whole division. I actually can see a 6, what is it? Would it be 6-8 or 6-7-1 winning the division, and that's just ridiculous. And get bounced at home against whomever they play.
6-9-1.
And
6-9-1.
I said it from the beginning. I believe that Colin Kaepernick would never come back. I mean, he didn't sign for whatever $30-some million with Nike to come back and play in the NFL and get his head bashed in. But I don't know. I don't think they have a chance. I don't think that whole division is just awful. And the offensive line really isn't protecting quarterbacks. I mean, they're just going to get murdered over there. And I just don't see it. I'm just hoping my Raiders actually can play and do well going forward, but we will see.
Yeah. All right, Paul, that's good. Thank you for getting us out of that. It would be 6-9-1. A 6-win team winning that division would be 6-9-1. That can't happen, right? It's got to be at least 7-8-1. Don't you think? 6-9-1. There's no way they win that division at 6-9.
I think you could win that division with like 4 wins at this point in time. It's just it's bad football all over the place. In the NFC.
All right.
JT.
505-246-0610. Hello, JT. How you living?
My man, Jeff, man. I'm a truck driver, and people are wondering why I'm laughing my you-know-what off.
That's good.
You got Jerry Jones and his son down pat, bro.
Glad you like that, man. I think Smokey and the Bandit, and I think Sheriff Buford T. Justice and his boy going through. That's what I keep thinking.
So, Lance, let me let you know, the sports animal loves all of us callers, right? Yeah.
What's that?
I said, let me let Lance know the sports animal loves all of our callers.
Right? Yep, we do. That's the truth, man. That is the
Okay,
truth.
we just don't like everything. They just like, he has to say sometimes. Neither do his fellow callers, but that's okay. That's why everybody has a different opinion, but we are all loved here in the Sports Animal.
Appreciate you, JT. Be safe out there.
Tony Romo. No, he makes too much money, right?
How'd we not have that conversation yet? Yeah, let's go there. Come on. How about Tony Romo coming back, JJ? Come on. All right, JT, be well. Be safe out there. Huh? Tony Romo can come back and play. Put on a pair of Skechers cleats and he can go.
I think Troy Aikman wants a shot. When you hear him talk about the NFL these days, and he's like, wait, you can get better as a quarterback. You can improve your accuracy, something he never did. I think Troy Aikman, I think he wants that shot. I think if Jerry called him, Troy Aikman would take that field.
Come on, man. Troy Aikman's too old. He might.
He has a point to prove to all these youngins in this generation.
He'd go out and get it done. All right. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's right. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. I want you to call On the Spot Auto Detailing. Get your vehicle detailed. Detailed. Look, harsh winter weather's coming. It's bad for your vehicle. The paint, the clear coat, what On the Spot Auto Detailing does is come out to you, and they apply by hand. This wax, way better than that spray-on wax you get at those drive-through car washes, and it protects your paint from the elements. And they come to you. Wherever, whenever it's convenient for you. It's the greatest thing. You're inside, you're doing what it is you got to do, you're working, and they're outside detailing your vehicle, making it look and smell and feel like the day you took it off the lot. Protect your investment. On the Spot Auto Detailing, 505-859-2859. That's 505-859-2859, or go to otsdetailing.com.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
As Bobby's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. All day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Deckerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me, Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
All right, NFL Thursday night in your ear here on the Sports Animal tonight. You get the Packers and the 49ers. 4 49ers are on the COVID list, including 3 starters. Brandon Ayuk will not play. Deebo Samuel already wasn't playing, but both out for the Niners tonight. 6 o'clock our coverage starts. That's after Lobo Talk. Robert Portnoy and Danny Gonzalez from Las Vegas, Nevada. Lobos leave, and they'll go play in Hawaii this weekend. It's the opening drive, Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. J.J., 2 Mountain West games tonight of interest. Border War starts at 7 o'clock. That's Wyoming and Colorado State. It's a CBS Sportsnet game. I just, watching these 2 teams last week, Wyoming laying 3.5 doesn't feel like nearly enough. Like, I love Wyoming laying 3.5 even though it's on the road. Not going to be fans there. They go down the road 45, 50 minutes. I just think they're a lot better than Colorado State is.
I agree. Colorado State is getting 2 receivers back, hopefully to help that offense tonight. But Wyoming, top 3 defense in the league. You can argue that they could even be better than Boise State right now, given the circumstances that they played and what they did to Hawaii offense, which is really good, and held them to just 7 points and really took away what they wanted to do in that football game. I am on Wyoming tonight. I think their identity, defense, run the football, try to hit a couple big play action passes with Levi Williams. And for Steve Addazio and Colorado State, they're still trying to figure it out. I thought it was going to be Patrick O'Brien at quarterback. It's not. It's been Todd Centennial. Kind of got to get his last name correct at some point in time. But the transfer from Temple, who's kind of more the running quarterback, is they're just trying to figure out anything offensively. But I'm with you. Wyoming is very good, and I like them more than that 3.5.
All right, Nevada's 2-0. They're playing Utah State. Now, I don't know if we know what Utah State is. I think we know this. They're not elite in this league. They played what – do we believe the 2 best teams are Boise State and San Diego State? Do we believe those are the 2 best teams in the league? They have been outscored 80-20. It's hard for me to believe they're as bad as they look. They got beat 42-13 on the road in Boise, and then came back and the Aztecs beat them 38-7. They get Nevada, Fresno State, Wyoming, and New Mexico the next few weeks. It's hard for me to think they're as bad as they look. So I don't know if 18.5 points is too much or not. They're playing a Nevada team that has looked good. They won that first game. They beat Wyoming. So you've got to say, look, man, they beat Wyoming. They've got to be better than Wyoming. Now, Wyoming lost their quarterback, Chambers, early in that game. And Levi
Williams,
thank you, came on. And they won that game 37-34 in overtime. They beat UNLV on the road last week 37-19. So they're averaging 37 points a game. I think Nevada wins. I just don't know if I think 18 is too much or not.
Utah State is transitioning. They are rebuilding. To your point, are they as bad as they've looked against the 2 best teams in the conference? No, but I do not think they're better than Nevada at this point in time. And I think it's going to be close to that number because Carson Strong is already in the conversation as best quarterback in this conference. He's slinging the ball, shotgun, spread him out. He has 2 great receivers in Dobbs and Cooks on the outside. He has an emerging young tight end. I am all in on Carson Strong, and there is a reason that Nevada, right before the season started, people really started to hype them up that week, and it's because they have a legit quarterback. Jay Norvell has them on the right track. think it's going to be close, but I think I'd take both the favorites to cover tonight.
So you would lay 18.5. See, I'm all over Wyoming. I love that tonight. I don't think it's nearly enough. I'm not sure. I wouldn't touch the Utah State game. I just wouldn't. I think you're probably like if I was leaning one way, I think I would lean the way you are, that Nevada's going to win big. But I don't know. You'll get 2 games tomorrow night. We'll get into those tomorrow as we go through the Mountain West. Of course, Lobos, currently the number on New Mexico is 15.5. And again, I think the Lobos are within 15.5 of Hawaii, don't you? Is that just a homer pick? We think they're going to get better second game, getting some guys back in the secondary, being able to practice like you expect them to look way, way better. And they were competitive with the San Jose State team that I'm going to argue with you right now is better than Hawaii.
Yeah, I think that's close. I think Hawaii is going to move the football, going to put up a lot of yards. So it comes down to, can you count on the Lobos offense to not have a rut? And I think that's where you get into a similar situation like San Jose State, where I think it's competitive, it's a close game, but you get into that second half, are you going to be able to keep it manageable, or is it going to be like another 17-0 run like we saw against San Jose State?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't have all those empty possessions and then give up a big play.
But just so much pressure on that offense in Tavaca.
Yeah. All right, this just came down about 13 minutes ago. We told you earlier this morning that the Texans had closed their facility because of a positive test. The Bears have now closed their facility. Early this morning, a player tested positive. All his close contacts were informed. They are now in self-isolation. So what that means for their game, they play the Titans this week. Man, everybody plays the Titans. Doesn't it feel like the Titans are in this conversation every week in regards to somebody, whether it's them or their opponent having positive tests? So stand by. You've got 4 49ers on the positive list, and they play tonight against the Green Bay Packers. So just a weekly fluid thing, and how do you manage through this? This is life in a pandemic.
Yeah, you just got to monitor the news and go with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's all you can do. All right, so you got a lot of viewing tonight, and at some point, they're going to call the presidential election, and then you're going to kind of have to watch what goes on in the world, aren't you? At some point, like if you got, this is a tough one for me tonight, because I don't know that I can convince Audra if they announce a president, and we're flipping through Wyoming, Colorado State, and Niners and Packers win.
Multi-screen evening for sure.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Tomorrow we'll talk a little golf with Nick Nee. You know the Masters is next week. You trust those guys? They play golf all the time. I don't know if you trust any of those guys.
Questionable.
Sketchy. Dustin Johnson's back. He's been out on the COVID list. So just in time for the Masters. But yeah, next week at this time, like right about now, we're going to be staring at the TV as round 1 in Augusta is going to be underway, and it's going to kind of be cool, to be honest with you. And I love having live sports as we're on early in the morning. Back on ProView Networks, if you want to watch the show, there we are. You can watch us now on Channel 26, Comcast, ProViewNetworks.com, and of course on our Facebook, the OD in the AM. Thanks to Jay Pohl and Jay. Look at the little dance. What's he like? What the hell is that? Thanks, guys.
Have you ever seen a bear in the circus?
Yeah, I just did. Jerry Palm was with us today from CBS Sports. Thanks to him. Jim Rome Show is next. Dan Patrick Show follows that. Sports Bar, local sports talk at 3. Lobo Talk at 5. You get the Packers and the 49ers at 6. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with more award-winning radio for you. Gentlemen, enjoy your day. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.